Welcome to this week of the FDP, in which we are going to discuss the features of MOOCs platforms. Actually, you have already been using IIT Bombay X for past 5 weeks. So, you will wonder why we are spending one full week on this. The idea is to help you understand how MOOCs evolved, where MOOCs stand today, what are the main features of the MOOCs platform. We will explore IIT Bombay X a bit more from the perspective of teachers, that is how we teachers would be able to use these features to create exciting course material and assessment. In particular, I will be discussing creation of randomized quizzes. As all of you know, if we do an online quiz and if there are people sitting next to each other, even in a supervised examination model, they can always see the neighboring screen and they could perhaps benefit from what the neighbor has answered. To avoid that, we have a feature of randomizing quizzes. It is not just randomization or repermutation of the choices, but it is also completely fresh questions which are randomized using some numerical variables, so that everybody actually gets a unique question. This feature is important and I will discuss this at some length here. I will briefly discuss the content interoperability feature, which is known as a standard for learning tools interoperability. Frankly, this interoperability feature is not being used extensively. That is because different platforms still create contents in their own formats and their own version. But we expect that over the next decade, interoperability will permit us to take a course on one platform, export it out, modify it and import it in entirely a new platform. Of course, that is a pipe dream for the time being. I will also briefly discuss scalability issues, because when we design a MOOCs platform, it is not useful only for a class of 100 people, only for some few thousand people in our institute, but it is usable by lakhs and crores of people. So, what are the scalability issues? I will briefly describe them. Not necessarily each one of you will be dealing with those, but each one of you should be aware of what is involved in scaling up the usage of such platforms. In this particular week, we shall not have too many video lectures. In fact, the only other video lecture that you will have from me will be on the details of creating randomized quizzes. Rest of the week you will have to spend reading a whole lot of material. This week has been deliberately kept a bit low profile in terms of the workload on each one of you, and all of you know the reason. As I mentioned in the last face-to-face interaction, all of you will be busy in completing a mandatory feedback which will be opened up this week. You will have to give answers to a lot of detailing questions about how you have been going about doing this course. I will not go into those details. My lecture and the associated write-up will tell you exactly what I mean. This week, therefore, I expect you to spend about 4 to 5 hours only of active work, because you will require other hours to fill up that feedback. Thank you very much.